So good afternoon and welcome to Charly, Clive and Ellen Robertson, writers and stars of Britney. Now, before we start, ladies, can I just ask one question, please?
Please.
I've been sat here for the last 4 hours waiting now. Is this the first sign of celebrity for you two, leaving me hanging on?
The thing is, Charly was being fanned by one of her manservants.
That's the thing. We were busy at the spa, Jay. We don't. we're too famous now.
No, I am joking, of course. I am joking. They were here prompt. Thanks for joining us, though, both. Really appreciate your time. So first and foremost, on behalf of the Pituitary Foundation, I would like to thank the pair of you for the previous support. So when you wrote Britney initially, I do believe it was 2017, you both presented me with a cheque for £3,200, which for a charity of our size was an enormous amount, and we really, really cannot thank you enough. So thank you for thinking of us and thank you for the support.
You're very welcome. Thank you for everything you do.
Yeah, truly.
And obviously now we're seeing Britney on the big stage on BBC. So many, many congratulations to the pair of you.
Thank you.
So you mentioned, obviously, Britney's about your diagnosis, Charly, and
Yeah.
say that you were diagnosed with a pituitary adenoma. Could you explain some of the symptoms that you first experienced?
Yeah, absolutely. So mine was, I basically had not had a period for a really long time. It had been about 10 months and I had taken pregnancy tests and I'd gone to see a doctor in America because that's where I was living at the time, and said, I don't know what this is, I feel completely fine, but I don't seem to be menstruating. And the doctor was like, okay, well, this does happen sometimes. Maybe you're under stress, maybe you've lost weight. Which neither of which were true, but I was in America, so I wasn't really prepared to pay a lot of money to have somebody tell me anything. So I was like, I'll leave it. So that was initially the first symptom I had. The first sign that anything was wrong was that I hadn't had a period in a few months, but I was sort of given the okay, so I didn't really think too much about it. The second one for me, the big one, would be my peripheral vision in my left eye was bad. Looking back on it, it was worse than I was sort of letting on. But if my hand was here, you can't really see that in the Zoom, maybe here, yeah. I wouldn't be able to see all of it from my left eye, and that was another sign. But at the time, I think it's changed now, and you'll probably know more than I do. But at the time, eye scans couldn't show you anything more than your eye, so they didn't think it could possibly be a tumour, so it didn't come up, and I didn't have any headaches or anything. So it was really, when my GP in England suggested that I get an MRI, I was quite shocked. But the reason he suggested I get an MRI was because after a blood test, the hormone prolactin showed up in my blood, which is more common in women going through menopause. So my hormones were quite wrong in my body at the time for my age. That was when the doctors were like, okay, something's going on with the brain, and that's how my diagnosis came about. It was, but I never ever could have predicted that it would be either of those two things that would led me to that conclusion.
Because they thought it was a prolactinoma.
Oh yeah, that's right. Ellen knows much more about it than I do, honestly.
It's good to see you've got such a supportive friend there, though. So when you were diagnosed, Charly, did you actually access any of the services of the Pituitary Foundation? Because we've got a nurse helpline, we've got a telephone support helpline, a text helpline, peer support, or was it a case, as is the case sadly in thousands of patients, they didn't know that we existed?
Well, it's sort of a mixture for me, because I found out about you guys because the doctor that diagnosed me, Professor John Wass, I believe is associated with the Pituitary Foundation.
He's one of the founders of the charity.
There you go. Okay, gosh, I didn't see this. And he told me about it, and he advised me to, and gave me lots of information on it, and told me how fantastic it was. And he's a brilliant man, and we have a wonderful relationship with him. But at the time, I just didn't really I wasn't really in the headspace to look into any of it. Looking back, I wish I had, particularly the peer support. I think would have been really useful, because what the mistake I made was that I just Googled things, and I would Google this and what's going on, and it's such a specific type of brain situation, I guess, that you get a million other things come up which are not the same. And so I feel like, because I didn't utilize the Pituitary Foundation, I had a more isolating experience than I needed to have. But I read everything that I was given, and I think I'd always intended to, but you just, unless there's some sort of guarantee it's going to help you, it's really difficult to reach out.
Yeah, I can completely understand that. So I've seen a couple of trailers of Britney, which I absolutely loved. I think it was fantastic.
Thank you.
Could you girls tell us a little bit more about it, please?
Yes, it is a comedy show based on that period of our lives, although it begins when we kind of first meet each other when we're about 14, and is about the trials of really an ordinary friendship entering adulthood, which is like two people want to live in different cities, but they also want to see lots of each other, and they're ambitious in their own different ways. And then at the very end of the episode, the news comes in that Charly's MRI has come back with this very shocking thing on it. And it's a real laugh.
It is. It sounds a bit gloomy, but it's about all the sort of like hilarious ways we were able to sort of cope with everything that went on.
I am actually really looking forward to it airing tomorrow. So I'm pretty sure, but would you two like to tell us what time it's on, the date and time?
Yes, so it's going to be available on BBC iPlayer all day tomorrow as of 6 a.m. So if anybody wakes up and first thing in the morning decides they want to really laugh, there it is, don't worry. And it's going to air on BBC One at tomorrow as well at 11:35 p.m. for the night owls, but will be on iPlayer and catch up TV for hopefully a long time. So please do tune in.
I would encourage everyone to watch it. I've seen the trailers and I was in stitches, so I would encourage everyone to watch it. Just before we end though, I made reference to the fundraising that you guys did back in 2017. Well, obviously I'm head of fundraising here at the Pituitary Foundation. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say that it's high time that you two did a fundraising event for us, I would suggest.
Right.
You're so right.
Jay, you're so right. And actually, we've got some friends who are keen for us to screen the show in some way. So if we do end up doing that, hopefully we will.
We will charge them extortionate amounts of money to come and watch a show that they could access for free on their laptops.
And then we'll give you 10%.
And we'll give you 10%.
Wonderful. Anything that makes money for this tragedy sounds wonderful to me. Thank you, girls. Really appreciate your time
Thank you,
today.
Jay. Lovely to see you again.
Really nice to
Lovely
see